beautiful. I'm so glad you're here because I want to ask you a personal question. May I ask you a personal question? Do you desire and crave intimacy on your own terms? I mean, do you want and desire like a deeper, more profound sensual experience within yourself so that you can share that with a partner or with someone else? So if the answer is yes, you want that, then you'll want to stick around for today's video, and I want to welcome you to Botanica Erotica. In today's episode of Apothecary Wisdom, we're going to be going deeper into sensuality and exploring the depths of our sensuality. And I'll offer intuitive and herbal guidance and herbal wisdom about aphrodisiacs, help you learn a little bit more about aphrodisiacs because there's a variety of them. And this video is a hint, like a taste, a flavor of just a little enticement of the workshop that I'm going to present. And so this video hopefully will leave you lingering and kind of longing for more. My name is Maria, and I'm a midwife and an herbalist, and I'm the creator of Birth Song Botanicals, and we make nourishing herbal remedies for women and children. And you can learn all about us, our videos and our blogs and products on our website. It's birthsongbotanicals.com. And this is a live event. Right here, we're talking about sex on Facebook Live. And I'm really glad you're here. Cheers. So raise your glass, lift your heart, open your mind, take a deep breath, and sink into your body. Have a sip. This is delicious. This isn't wine. This is Lover's Passion Tea that we've made for the holidays, for Valentine's. And I'll tell you more about it. We just made a limited number, and once it's gone, it's gone. We made enough for the workshop and for the store. So we're doing this workshop at the Four of Wands, a cute little store here in Fayetteville. And so they're going to have some bags, and then we'll have some bags, and once it's gone, it's gone. So drink deep while you can. And I really want to say thank you for being here. Even though this is a live event, I'm in front of the camera and I can't see your comments. Heaven is behind the camera, so she can see your comments and your waves, and if there's a question or something that pops up, then she'll chime in at a time that I can stop, okay? But I'm so glad you're here, because when we're together like this, we learn, we grow together, and we learn, and what we learn about women's bodies and women's wisdom. We learn about herbal medicine, and we learn about women's and feminine power, right? And that's really exciting, and for that I'm going to raise my glass one more time. Yeah, cheers. This is a drink that you'll want to sip slowly. I can already feel its effects. Wonderful. So before I start talking about aphrodisiacs and how aphrodisiacs work, I'm going to just check in and all of you and have you go ahead and put in the comments if you are familiar with aphrodisiacs, if you drink them, which ones you drink, why you would even want them. Just kind of fill me in on what I'm working with here. Okay, so really, throughout time and throughout the centuries, throughout the ages, men and women have imbibed interesting substances, always with this quest for like more and better and more satisfying, richer, deeper sex. and a more satisfying experience. And aphrodisiacs sometimes are food, and sometimes they make a lot of sense and they have like clinical trials and studies with them, but sometimes they're myths and legends and a little bit weird, but we'll do it. We'll do whatever it takes, right, to get to that sweet spot, right? And so the word aphrodisiac comes from the Greek goddess Aphrodite, which means love and desire, right? And so how aphrodisiacs work is really mysterious. I mean, it's just as mysterious and intricate and unknown as how sexual arousal works in our system. We can't just say this herb works because of this. It's like intricate interplay of our senses, of our tissues, and of this whole experience with the herbs. So essentially, aphrodisiacs, though, since I told you I'm just giving you a taste, I'm not going to dive so deep. I'm just going to tell you that some of these herbs, they stimulate blood flow, right? They stimulate blood flow to your sweet spots, and they tighten and tone, and so they give you like vigor and vitality and enhancement, right? And then others, they help soften and calm and open and smooth you out and loosen your inhibitions so that you can show up without being so tense and afraid. So that's how these herbs generally work. I'm going to keep utilizing my notes here because I don't want to miss a single thing. Because another thing that they can do is sometimes these herbs will help moisten you and juicy. They help you become juicy and moist and ripe, right? And so these herbs, they do so much. And so I want to share with you about 4 of them, okay? And so essentially what I want you to also think about is aphrodisiacs tend to also be these tonic herbs that somebody would imbibe over a long period of time, right, to get these effects that we're talking about. And so how aphrodisiacs work, there's this whole long list, so I'm going to just repeat a little bit. Think of them as increasing blood flow to your sexual organs, right? Or think of them as just giving you vitality and stamina and vigor and endurance. And then think of them as herbs that can help harmonize your endocrine system and balance your hormones. And then think of them as calming your anxiety and relaxing your body and calming your emotions and opening your mind and opening your spirit to curiosity and possibility. What else? Oh, think of them as herbs that can nourish and enhance your heart and your self-love. And, these other herbs, which I'm not going to really talk about today, but I talk about in the workshop. What they do is they help enhance your sensitivity and they awaken all of your senses so you can see more, hear more, touch more fully, be touched, right? When you activate your senses, the whole sensual experience is amplified. And then also aphrodisiacs, just in terms, we have to remember that sensuality and sex is related to fertility. So a lot of these aphrodisiacs promote and enhance fertility. So you want to be aware of that too. We are in a time in our lives where like, oh my goodness, we can have sex and not make a baby. But like our generations, the people before us, that really wasn't on their mind as much. So just remember when we're talking about all of these herbs, it can promote your fertility and promote fertility for men and women. So it can help a woman harmonize her hormones so she can be fertile, but it helps men increase their sperm count and the motility of their sperm. So you're sitting here and we're talking about aphrodisiacs. And so then it makes this question of like, if we're talking about aphrodisiacs and we're really also talking about libido, and if we're looking to libido, you might be like, where did my libido go? Like, where did it go? Where is it? It's gone, right? And if that's you, the most common culprits, once again, I have a long list of common culprits that your libido went, because the most common one is going to be stress, right? Or depression, or anxiety, or the effects of taking medication for the stress, the depression, and anxiety. That whole category can be where your libido went. Also, it could be like, you see how I'm engaged with you right now? Like I'm leaning in, I'm curious, I'm excited, I'm smiling. Because I am open and there's curiosity, I'm engaged. But your libido goes away when you're like disinterested. You're in your head, don't really care, you're not fully embodied your experience, going through the motions. Right? So your libido left as soon as you left your body, right? And then your libido maybe never even took hold because you have all these feelings of guilt or feelings of shame, like sex is a sin, or it's dirty, or it's just like it's not spiritual. I'm seeking spiritual enlightenment and yet still I want to have sex, and right? Definitely can relate to that. And then, or your sex could be, your libido could be gone from like history, your personal history of being abused or being hurt or traumatized or having dissatisfying experiences, being disrespected and not being heard, and just like it still lingers in your body because you haven't gone through the healing process of it, right? That's a whole vast deep hole that a lot of us have been in, right? And what else? Oh, then fear, just fear of sex, but then the fear of getting pregnant, the consequences of having sex, and then having to deal with that for the rest of your life and having to take care of that is like very scary for a lot of people. There's other people that want a baby so bad, they're gonna like have sex 5 times a day to make it happen, right? They may not be like aroused, they're just going through the motions just to get that baby. But the fear of having a baby is a big block, right? What else? Oh, then if you just had a baby and you're nursing your baby, or you're a mom and you're at home and you got your kids and your toddler and you're constantly touched out, somebody's always touching you, always needing you, always pulling at you, and then for you to go do one more task where you have to give your body to somebody else for their pleasure is about the last thing on your mind. Also, body changes. It could be because you just are pregnant or you gave birth and your body changed so much, or you're not cute and 20 anymore. You're in your 40s, you're in your 50s, you're in your 60s. You put on some weight and you got stretch marks or whatever it is, like your body shame, right? Or your body just being comfortable with your body. What else? The other thing is just, what about not having enough time? Not making enough time for intimacy. You're in a hurry, and you just don't have the time. You might not have the time. You might not have the privacy. You might not have the beautiful space, right? Oh, there's a lot more. Oh, another one is the lack of foreplay, right? And the timing of and foreplay is not like a little kiss on your neck. Foreplay takes all day. It takes sometimes weeks. It takes distance in between you where you're just wondering, and there's mystery and just leading into and wondering in between what did that say? That's exciting and entices you, right? When you don't have that, then how do you just expect to perform and get into it? It's fake if that's not there. Or what else? Oh, you might lack clear, compassionate, honest communication with your partner. Or there might be something about you're just not attracted to your partner like you used to be. They've changed, you've changed. You fundamentally have changed. You loved each other. But now you're just growing in 2 different ways. It's not a problem. They didn't do anything wrong. You didn't do anything wrong. It's just it's the same anymore. Also, talking about change, then when you age and change, you start to go through all these hormonal changes. I mean, if you just gave birth, you're going through dramatic hormonal changes postpartum, but if you're going through your perimenopause and you're going through hormonal changes, all of these things that I just mentioned on this list are some examples of where your libido could be anywhere else but in here and active and open and ready to be expressed, right? So why don't you put in the comments and tell me where you think your libido went and let us know, right? And then we can see, oh, you're not alone in this. Wow, I can really relate to that too, right?
We've got some people joining us, but everybody's being pretty shy.
Oh, pretty shy. Oh, maybe it's like a private conversation. Well, I'm here to open it up a little bit. Let's start talking about sexual arousal, right? So the forces that cause this arousal come from our mind and they come from our bodies, right? And your mind is the controller of your sensuality, sexuality, and your libido, right? And so arousal can be triggered by a lot of different things, particularly like in your mind, you could like think of something or someone or have a fantasy. Or you could have seen like a show, a TV, erotic movie. You could have seen a gorgeous person walk by you. You could have seen nudity. You could have heard a voice. You could have heard a song. You could have smelled something really beautiful. Somebody could have touched you. Somebody could have made a remark that was provocative enough to make you lean into it, right? Those are some of the ways, and all those ways are you're cognizant, you're awake, but then you can also be asleep and be totally asleep and have all of these erotic dreams and have orgasms in your dreams. You should put that in there in the comments. If you've had an orgasm in your dream, put that in the comments. Right? And so, but then how does this all relate to aphrodisiacs, right? Our biochemistry in our body is influenced by our lifestyle. So our biochemistry, our hormones, we've talked about this in previous videos when we talk about our menstrual cycles, right? We talked about how our menstrual cycles are controlled by our hormones and how susceptible our hormones are to the things we eat, drink, think, do, feel, put into our body. And so aphrodisiacs are chemicals and things that we put into our bodies like vitamins and minerals and herbs and food and drugs and medications. All these things influence our biochemistry and then in turn influence our libido. And so that's where aphrodisiacs come in, because they're chemicals that enter our body that influence our mind and influence our body, influence our sensitivity. Okay. So another thing I want to talk about with these aphrodisiacs, there are some that you would take for a long period of time to increase your stamina and to increase your ability to have vitality, to actually go for it and could even contemplate it in your mind that it's a possibility for you to be having an intimate and sexual relationship. And so these are long term and they're really conditioning for you and toning for you, and they're tonic herbs. And then there are other herbs that you would imbibe right before making love to help you open up and to relax and to enhance your experience. And now really if you need to pick what's the right aphrodisiac for you. And in the workshop it's going to be really different than this, right? So in the workshop I'm going to say trust your instincts and be really body led and go with your senses. And I'll have a tray. It'll be kind of like this, but it'll be even fuller with even more herbs. And then you'll be able to smell each one and taste them and look at them, and then you'll really be able to decide and feel and be pulled by your body, moved by your body to choose which aphrodisiac is right for you. But on this video, we can't really do that, right? So you have to ask yourself some questions, like, why do I even want to take an aphrodisiac? Is there an aphrodisiac that's interesting to me? Is there one that I've like heard about, I'd like to know more about, I'm like a little curious and piqued? Or some of your questions are like, okay, so what is it? I'm a little stressed and I need to calm down. Okay, so then that would be a reason you'd want your aphrodisiacs. Or I feel a little disengaged with my heart. My heart feels broken. My heart is just not in it the same way, right? What else? Other questions of just like, do you want, really essentially, do you just want it to just be more sensitive, right? And if you've known me, I'm always going to start with, like, you want something, and I know you want it, but then I got to give you what you need before I give you what you want. This is how I am. I'm always into, like, nourishing and the long haul, and also, we're talking about sensuality, and then when we talk about sensuality, our modern culture immediately is talking about sex, and then sex is between you and another person that you give to another person, and it's not even so much even about love or self-dignity or self-worth or all that. It doesn't even have to be that. But in the conversation that I'm presenting and that I'm owning and living in is one about deep love. And in our previous videos, we talked about how what we're doing right now in Apothecary Wisdom is we're really initiating this experience where we have just radical self-love, where we are so willing to listen to ourselves, to be patient, to be compassionate, to take time, to offer forgiveness to ourselves. And that sort of self-love is necessary if you're going to have a partner that meets you on all levels, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. And that's what you're craving, right? We're all craving that. And so much of our libido left when we had our broken heart, or we had our trauma, or we had our abuse, or our heart just wasn't in it anymore. And so the first herb I want to offer to you is hawthorn. Hawthorn is an herb for the heart in every level. Hawthorn is an herb for your heart, for your physical heart, to help tonify the muscles so it can heart beat and pump your blood, and for your valves and your arteries and your blood vessels. It's good for your blood pressure, right? But then it's an herb for your emotional heart. And I'm going to speak from my experience, and you probably felt this way too. Have you ever had a broken heart? I mean, it just hurts, right? It just like, oh my God, like, why? How can it hurt so bad, right? And so in the workshop, we're going to do an exercise, which I want to keep you lingering, but I can't help but I need to share it with you a little bit. And in this exercise, you can't see my hands, but just see that how I am opening my heart, right? This is a real vulnerable place to be, right? I'm out here and open, my heart chested, spread open. And what hawthorn does, and what these exercises do, is this beautiful experience of it takes your heart that's been broken and it helps put it back together and mends it, right? It mends it. And so now that your heart has been expanded and it's still now solid and complete and whole, and it's bigger and more beautiful and more capable and has more capacity than it ever had before, right? And hawthorn helps with that. And then hawthorn helps with not just your physical heart and your emotional heart for you to love yourself. It helps you extend that love out into the universe, right? Into your spirit heart, right? And then it helps you extend that out into the universe of your spirit heart. But then it helps you, like, you see how much more expanded you are, and then you can turn it right back, and you can receive it again, and you can give and receive and give. It doesn't matter the distance, it doesn't matter the time, the location. You can be in a state of giving and receiving this most beautiful, pure, universal heart, life force, love energy, and hawthorn can help you do that. And so that's the first herb that I would offer to you. Okay? Oh, I want to say one other thing about hawthorn. If you're going to have your heart out like this, and you're going to go through life living, being a heart-led life, that requires courage, right? The word courage just starts with courage, C-O-R, like coronary. The word courage means living a heart-led life, a heart-led life. And so just remember, if you're going to open yourself up to sensuality and to radical self-love and to being vulnerable and exposed, because you have to be vulnerable and exposed in order to actually really feel it, you're going to have to face your fears, and you're going to have to lead with courage and experience courage. Okay? I'm going to sip of this lover's passion. So you're not going to drink hawthorn and immediately like, ah! It's something you have all the time. It becomes a practice, right? It becomes part of your self-care. That's non-negotiable. Okay, the next one is maca. So maca is another herb I want to share with you at first, because it's one that you would have over a long period of time, and before you start to really feel and notice all of the effects and the benefits, because there's a long list of benefits. And the reason I want to introduce maca to you is because it's a food, and it's nourishing, and it's an aphrodisiac. And it comes from the Andes Mountains, and the indigenous people have utilized it for millennia to help promote fertility and vitality and strength. I mean, these are Indians that, they live in the mountains. They're climbing mountains. They're carrying babies, firewood, all kind of stuff on their back with altitude sickness, altitude elevation differences. They have less oxygen, and they are sturdy, stable, rugged, prolific, beautiful people, right? And maca root is phenomenal for hormonal balancing. So it really helps promote fertility, but it also helps promote like mood swings. It helps increase your libido. So it's an aphrodisiac. It helps men with their sperm count. So there are 3 types of maca. What is it? There's gold, black, and red. And the gold and the black are the ones that men would want to consume and imbibe and eat so they can have more sperm. Now for me, maca, it comes in all different forms, right? You can get it in a powder, and you can get it in a pill, or you can get it in a tincture. But like the pill, that's not very sexy. I don't take this pill. That's not sexy. That's not sexy to me. So I'm gonna mix my maca. You can put it in a smoothie, but I put it in chocolate, right? Chocolate and some sacred mushrooms and some coconut powder, and drink chocolate cocoa maca every day. And it really can take you from a place of like, all right, this is my version of success. I'm really busy. Woohoo! To this is my version of success. I'm living in my body and I'm fully engaged and I'm here and I'm present and I'm showing up. Maca helps you. You're still busy, but you can handle it better. Okay? And then now we can start to segue into the herbs that are more for like in the moment, right? Your herbs for in the moment. And kava kava is perfect for this. Kava kava is an herb that really helps relax you and release your inhibitions. So it's called an empathogen, right? And what it does, it's the anti-shyness herb. And you can imbibe it in cups, or they sometimes make bowls of kava, or it can be in a tincture. And that would be fine. That would be attractive to me. Still, a tincture would be way more than a pill. Or you can put it in your tea. But when you drink it, or even when you chew on the root, your mouth is going to come really numb. And your tension releases. And it feels a little bit like alcohol. It is a little bit like alcohol in that it takes a shy person and they can come out of their shell and they can talk and they can share and they can like stand a little closer and be a little bit more free and a little less inhibited. However, it's not like alcohol in that you don't lose control of your faculties. You're not like a victim to the alcohol and you're not going to stumble down the street, right? But it's really great for intimacy because it helps, like I said, open you up and loosen you up and make you curious while you can maintain control. And that's a big feeling that people have when I'm talking to women here and to everyone, but like the loss of control. There has to be a little loss of control because you're like interacting with someone else and you're merging and you're trusting. There's a place of trust and there's always a realm of safety, right, for you to be able to go deeper into your intimacy. At the same time, when you alcohol, then you can lose all that, and then later you start to question, like, did I only do that because of the alcohol? Kava won't make you feel that way. You might question yourself for whatever reason all the time, no matter what you do, what you did, what you said, what you ate, whatever. You're always going to like question yourself, but it's not because you lost control of your faculties. You did what you did because you finally were able to open up and you wanted to, right? And that's a real different, and that's a place of empowerment, right? You're creating this, you're co-creating your sensuality, and you are the driver of your ship, right? You're steering it. Kava just helps you just be like, oh yeah, I'll go there. Okay, I'll go. So that's kava kava. And then the last one I'm going to talk about is Damiana, and that's what I'm drinking right now. Damiana, right? I'll have another little sip. So Damiana is an incredibly uplifting, pleasant herb, right? It's very relaxing too, but it's uplifting and pleasant, and you'll really notice its effects, like the uplifting, pleasant effects, especially if you're like feeling crabby and mad and angry and just like out of sorts, and then you have some Damiana. It's almost like instantaneous of like, oh, I feel better, right? At the same time, so it gives you a nice pleasant uplift, right? And so don't wait too long. Don't drink Damiana and wait 3 hours because you'll be down by then, right? Damiana is going to give you this uplift for about an hour and a half, right? So you brew your Damiana. So that's what we're drinking, Lover's Passion. See, it's not in a normal teacup. It's in these beautiful two of cups goblets here, right? So that it becomes romantic in and of itself. It's this beautiful elixir that you're sharing. It's like red like wine, and you drink it warm too. It has a whole other dimension to the sensation and the sensitivity of what you're experiencing. And it's just unique and special. So Damiana is really wonderful in a nighttime situation because not only does it help like give you a little energy to uplift you and to relax you and help you feel good, but then when you fall asleep, you have really pleasant, beautiful dreams and erotic dreams. And So that's what Damiana is. And so we blended Damiana in Lover's Passion with rose hips and passion flower and cinnamon and hibiscus and lavender. So it's a very relaxing, sensual blend. And I would tell you a lot more about these herbs, but I'm gonna just have to like start to wrap this video up here, right? You really feel the effects like immediately. Like I feel like I'm blushing right now. So I should say one thing. Damiana is not intended for an immediate postpartum mom, right? So if you're pregnant, not so much for you. And if you're immediate postpartum, not so much for you. But if you're you have a toddler or they're like a year old, it's okay. But not a baby. Okay. I want to remind you that this video is like a test, a tease, a taste, an idea of what the workshop is going to be. The workshop, the local workshop, the one that I'm planning this week, is sold out. So you're going to have to be on the lookout for when I offer it again. But in the workshop, we're going to go through really beautiful, I have a tray and a lot of different herbs so you can elicit and awaken your senses. And I'll guide you through these really beautiful breath patterns and open up your chakras. And then we'll go through this qigong motions that have similar feelings that the herbs elicit. And so you can feel it with the herb, and then you have a physical practice to feel it too. So you're opening up your sensuality in a lot of different levels and aspects. Like it's kind of like a prism. You're going to put in, and the light can hit it in all these different ways. And you'll just be activated and amplified. And your beauty can cast out into the world. So that's what the workshop is going to be. So be on the lookout for more of them. And I also want to remind you that we just have a few of these left. And I want to remind you about that. And you can get them on our website. The link will be in the description. There's another thing I want to remind you of. Oh, question. 2 things I want to talk to you about. One is next week we can talk about either charting our menstruation, because we started that and that seemed interesting, and it is interesting, or we can talk about yoni steams. Which one do you want to talk about? Put it in the comments. And if you don't put it in the comments, then I get to pick, right? Another thing, there's one more thing I want to share with you, is talking about workshops and things that are on the horizon. I have in March 7th, I'm something so excited about, is I'm going to collaborate with a woman named Joy Caffrey. I have learned so much from her. Joy Caffrey is an energy healer, and she's taught me so much about energy dynamics. So every single interaction that we have is an exchange of energy in some way or another, whether we realize it or not, right? We're pushing energy, we're pulling energy, we're guarding against energy. We have to cleanse our energy. It affects our emotions, obviously it affects our libido, it affects our hormones, it affects our reactions, our communication. Every aspect of ourselves is a reflection and a reaction or a response to energy. And she can give voice to that really well. And then I'm going to come in and we're going to do the Qigong on the mountaintop on Mount Sequoia. It is going to be the most beautiful experience, and I'm excited. We're not sold out for that one. So the link is down below. And I really invite you to come to that and see what life-transforming experiences come out of that one. And I know there will be life-transforming experiences because I'm living proof of that. And there's that. And before I go...
We have 2 comments.
Okay, what do we got? Somebody
said, I hope to make it to your next workshop, and a yoni steam for the next episode.
Oh, all right, we got a vote. All right. We'll do it then. Thank you. That's exciting. Okay, we'll do the yoni steam. Okay, so I'm about to sign off, and this is live. At the same time, I do encourage you. I'm really trying to like draw you in to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, because right now it's just a little baby, and it's like being nursed and breastfed and held. It's in my little pouch, and I'm loving it and doing all the things I know how to do to help it grow into this healthy, vibrant, beautiful YouTube channel. But I need subscribers to click like and to carry it on and share it, or it just gets lost and drowned out in all the noise. Do we want noise, or do we want sound and vibration, right? So I'm asking you to push like and subscribe on my YouTube channel, and go to our website, get some Lover's Passion, read our blogs, learn a lot about women's empowerment, birth, herbs, taking care of healthy children, loving yourself. And until next time, my friends, I'm going to do cheers to you. Here's your cup. Cheers. Drink deep and always walk in beauty.